One of my many alarms just went off. So, the lip that it shows on the picture is non-existent. There's a rim, but it's not how it shows on the picture. So that's one thing. I open up the package, I take out the pans. There's a sticker applied to each one of the pans. And on that sticker, it says, do not clean with abrasive materials like a scouring pad. Not recommended to hand wash, not dishwasher wash. Well, the advertising said it was dishwasher safe. Oh yeah, things like this. Do not use cooking spray. Only use butter or oil as a lubricant. Oh, wait a minute. It's supposedly non-stick. Shouldn't have to use anything. And cooking sprays? Why can't I use a cooking spray in there? Most cooking sprays now are oil in an aerosolized can. What? So I don't know. And then there's the fact that since this stuff is so pretty, crisp, clean, unstained, unchipped, essentially straight out of the box, I'm really overprotective of it. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm worried that Scrunchy, if she comes, no, I'm not even gonna say it, because her response will be, well, fine, I'm not touching it. If you got some kind of Kardashian cookware, I'm not gonna clean it, I'm not gonna cook. She already said that last night. Well, you'll be doing all the cooking. I already am. It's been like 4 meals that she's made for me through the course of a couple of years we've known each other. I guess I could always tell myself, they make more. A couple of years down the road, this stuff gets destroyed. They make more. Buy another set. What is that called? Planned obsolescence. Yeah, so there's that. Today should be the big day that the new diesel heater shows up for the shop. Yep, sweet. But now, I kind of feel bad for pulling the trigger and buying that because I've got a back bill I got to pay for my insurance. Nah. I was upstairs in the office, future office. Currently it's the lab. God, that's a depressing room. Something straight out of Silence of the Lambs. But anyway, looking at the calendar, pulling the trigger on my last 28 hours of vacation. I'm going to take the Friday off after Thanksgiving, so I have a 4-day weekend. And then at Christmas, I'm taking Christmas Eve and the Friday off after Christmas, so I have a 5-day weekend. So I pulled the trigger on that this morning, put in the request for it. But I discovered I don't get paid 3 times in October like somebody told me I do. No. I don't know. So Houston, we might have a problem. Because I was factoring on that to pay my membership dues for camp, which are pretty near $1,000. But I looked on my calendar, and for the month of October, I only get paid twice. So somebody got their facts wrong. Don't know. Anyway, so the vacation is put in. So that's done. This morning I pulled the trigger on ordering another batch of pipe tobacco. I'm going through this stuff like toilet paper. Yeah, it's my only bad habit. Leave me alone. But I'm going to be making a winter blend. Winter's coming up, and I like to make my own blends of tobacco, pipe tobacco. So I'm going to make my winter blend, and what I do is I use my aromatic tobacco that smells like maple syrup, and then I mix it in with some Turkish Latakia. That's some powerful stuff. It's a real rich, smoky, campfire smelling pipe tobacco, and it's made in Turkey, and at a very specific facility. And what they do is they take the tobacco plants, they harvest them out of the field, they just cut them off at the base, and they invert them and hang them upside down on wooden racks in a tall concrete silo. And on the floor of that concrete silo, at the bottom, they build a smoky campfire. And they let that smoke percolate up through the silo and out the top. It's like smoking meat. And the tobacco plant gets infused with that wood smoke and gives it a very rich, smoky flavor. It's like smoking a brisket, or smoking a brisket in your pipe. It has a smoky campfire taste. It's yummy, but it's very powerful. For some reason, that Turkish Latakia has a lot of nicotine in it, and if you're not a seasoned smoker like me, it will kick your ass. Yep. But anyway, I'm trying to pay attention to my stock, and when I get down around a quarter volume left in my big tobacco bowl here, I put in another order so that I don't end up like I did last time, where I run out of the stuff and I'm forced to go to feed my habit. I'm forced to buy those friggin' cigars that are medically affecting me. Yep. So I did a preemptive strike and got that order on its way, because it takes a while to get here. It's not like ordering something from Amazon, where it shows up in a couple of days. It'll show up earlier than what your projected delivery by date is listed. I'm pretty impressed with Amazon, I'm not gonna lie. So that's done. I've been in more frequent conference with Rob. We kind of have a sort of a hate Kate club going on right here, right now. He's having problems there. Kate's daughter, a 20-something-year-old spoiled brat, wants what she wants, and she wants it now. No sense of fiscal responsibility. Listen to me. Who am I to talk? I let my insurance lap and didn't even realize it. Lapse, sorry. And didn't even realize I did it. But anyway, oh yeah, she's into, this guy she's into is into tuner cars. He's part of this car club. Now she's immersed in this car club, this tuner car club thing. And yeah, so she's throwing money at her car to customize it. So she fits in. Now, building cars, race cars, performance cars, restoring cars, that's an expensive hobby. Oh yeah, that's thousands of dollars. Well, when you're a broke loser and you're working a very mediocre job that pays you minimum wage, you can't afford rich man hobbies. Well, nobody's told this chick that. So she's buying suspension kits, lowering kits, exhaust kits, custom wheels, getting vinyl graphics done, things like this for this tuner car that she has. Now there's another car she wants. Something different than what she currently has. But she's living with mommy and Rob, paying rent, which is essentially a part of the mortgage payment. They put her on the mortgage. Yeah. So that they could afford this $450,000 house they bought. Why? They want what they want, and they want it now. Rob saw the shop, and he had to have that. Kate saw the house with all of its bedrooms, and it looks nice. She had to have that. The house is a shit show. It looks nice. It's got new vinyl siding. It's 2 stories. It has lots of rooms. There's custom cabinetry in there because the previous owner was a cabinet builder apparently. So it's got tricked out kitchen cabinets and, you know, with the slide out spice shelves and all this fancy stuff. Oh yeah. But the basement is basically a holding tank. A water holding tank. It floods with water. Anywhere from 6 to 8 inches to 10 inches of standing water on the floor. It was such a problem that the previous owner built a raised floor out of wood down there to try to get above the level of the water so they could walk around down in the basement. They built a scaffolding of sorts. That's one thing. The property, the soil substrate is clay. So water doesn't drain very well when it rains, and it's in a low area. So there's standing ponded water out by the septic system, which then spills into the holding tank and prematurely fills up the holding tank. Oh yeah, it's a shit show. It sat on the market for quite a while when it was put up for sale. And that's why. Now, we gotta have it. And they found a way to make it happen by including the diva daughter in on the mortgage. Well, the daughter is like 3 months in arrears on paying her portion of the mortgage. So the mortgage still has to be paid, so somebody has to step up. Kate is not allowed to get overtime at her job, so she only makes a set amount of income. So that leaves it up to Rob. So Rob is having to work extra hours to cover the slack from the diva daughter. Kate is not being authoritarian and disciplinarian towards the daughter because that's her daughter. She can do no wrong. So we got this going on between Kate and Rob. Rob came right out and told Kate that her daughter was a liar. Yeah. I don't see this marriage lasting much longer because Kate has a low tolerance for anybody contesting her. She is a control freak dominant. She always has to be right. She always has to be in a position of power and authority in a relationship. But yet she can't put any power and authority towards her daughter. So many single mothers are like this. I noticed this. The diva was like this. All of my kids are miscreants, except for one. And don't you dare say anything bad about my kids. They're walking shit shows, but don't you dare say anything bad. I am so proud of my kids. Okay, I won't go into details, but not so much. One of them turning out to be something. The rest, not so much. Well, Kate's the same way with her kids. Scrutchy's the same way with hers. Don't you dare say anything bad about my sons. Okay. Why is that? What's with this mama bear mentality? When somebody who's sitting outside the box looking in can see the faults and the flaws of that individual, but yet the parent puts on the blinders and nothing to see here. Oh, it always amazes me. Yeah, if I had kids, I don't have kids, so who am I to say, right? But if I had kids and they were miscreants, I'd be the first one to admit they were miscreants. Oh yeah, my son, he's a shit show. Oh yeah, he lost his driver's license. Yeah, he got nailed for drug possession. Oh yeah, he can't keep a job, bouncing from job to job. Oh yeah, he doesn't know how to pull out when he's banging a chick, so now he has three kids. You know, I'd be the first one to say it. I don't care. It's no reflection on me, although it kind of is, because it reflects bad parenting. So, you know, kids are a product of their environment to a certain extent. But I don't need to run around the world and brag to the world how great my kids are. No. If they're shit shows, I'm going to admit it. After all they are is just blood connected to me, you know. They're their own individual entities. They make their own decisions, whether it's good or bad. It's not a reflection on me, you know. You can't teach kids wisdom, so to speak. It's kind of ingrained in them. It's something they have to figure out on their own. I don't know. But, oh yeah. So I don't see Kate and Rob's marriage lasting very long. They've only been married a year or two. I don't see it lasting long. Yep. Because when Kate gets resentment in her head for you, it's just a ticking time bomb. Your days are numbered. She too is a fatalist. She focuses on the negatives, not on the positives. And she sits in her dark room at night, thinks about the negatives, and spools it up into a major thing, and then justifies the execution, and you're done. That's what's happening to Rob. Problem is, with a fatalist, you never really see it coming because you don't know what's going on in that dark room at night when she's sitting there with her own twisted thoughts. You have no clue. You know, the guillotine is swinging and it's dropping a tooth at a time. And you're laying on the table. Yeah. So anyway, I've been in conference with him more than I normally would be. Yeah, so there's that. Opened up my route this morning. I see my first call is a two-man call. No details. So the call is assigned to DTR. All it says on my end of it is two-man call. I don't know what we're doing, what we're working on. We're probably rebuilding a front-load washing machine that doesn't need to be rebuilt. DTR is famous for that. Oh, it's got a bad bearing, so now we got to rebuild the whole effing thing. And I don't understand why it's a two-man call with me when he's training a new guy. Why doesn't he come up here with the new guy and handle the two-man call so I don't have to see him and deal with him? FML. The rest of the day is all diagnostics. It doesn't look bad. Yeah. So I get to come home and play with my new heater. Whoop whoop. So I will probably go to Menards today on my lunch break, pick up a yellow plastic diesel fuel can, go to the gas station, grab 5 gallons of diesel fuel, and so I got some juice to put in there right away, and we might fire that bad boy up and see how it works. Yeah. What else? I think the rest of my stuff from Amazon that I ordered, I went on a little spending spree the other day. I was thinking, hey, I get paid 3 times in October. Apparently I don't. So I bought some stuff that I needed and I wanted. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have done that. But at least I got my new cooking set, so that's good. I won't be eating any more chips of Teflon. But we will get a fuel can and some fuel today so that when that thing shows up at the door today, I can test it out. I got high hopes for that. 80,000 BTUs in an insulated garage bay. It should do wonders. Yeah, Rob was telling Rob about it. He goes, well, that'll probably roast you out of there. I said, yeah, but it'll be set up on a thermostat, so it won't. It'll cycle itself off and on as needed, but yeah. On the shop build, one of the things I'm gonna have to do is install a ceiling fan. I got real tall bays in that garage. They're like 14-foot ceilings, 12-foot. Somewhere up there. It's really high ceiling. So when I do the wiring, I'll have to run a circuit for a ceiling fan to keep that heat circulating downward. so it's not all hanging up near the top. Heat rises, cold air sinks. Yeah. Yep. Well, we'll try that out tonight if it shows up. That'll be cool. What else? I think that's about all I got. So the oh shit alarm is about to go off here pretty soon, so I better get my stuff together here and get ready to get out the door. Oh my God, the deer. I went into work yesterday and there was about 14 deer all along my route that were hanging out in the ditches eating all of the foliage that was covered with frost, because that's how they get their water. If they don't actually physically come to a lake to drink, they can get their water supply off of eating plants that are covered in dew or frost early in the morning. So they were in the ditches, and fortunately I didn't have a rising sun blinding me, or I'd have never seen a lot of these deer. I was able to see them. So what I'm trying to do now is I'm trying to figure out a pattern of when I need to leave the house where I won't encounter that rising sun. It'll get better here as the days get shorter. Eventually I'll be driving to work in the dark and coming home in the dark. And then I can use the big flamethrower lights on the Jeep to see what I need to see. And it even gets better in the winter because now all the ditches are white and those brown deer stand out against the white snow. Except for the albino deer that I have in the area that blend in with the snow. But, and then as the snow gets deeper from the snow plows blowing it into the ditch, the deer don't want to go through that deep snow, so they find other ways. You know, they walk down people's driveways. It's usually what they do. People plow their driveways, so the deer will come shitting out of somebody's driveway. It's much easier walking to cross the road. Yeah. But with snow on the ground, you can see them coming, so that's a good thing. But right now, I'm trying to figure out the timing of when to go in, when to come home, so I don't have that blinding sun in my eyes like I had last night on the way home, where I literally can't see anything. The ditches are black. The glare on the windshield is so bright that the ditches are straight up black. If there was a Sasquatch standing there, I'd never see it, or a bear, until I'm right on top of it. Hate that. It is such a white knuckle, stressful drive to and from work every morning. I didn't factor that in at all on this purchase. It wouldn't have been an executional decision as far as buying the lake house, no. But I sure am not liking that stress level on the way in and the way out every day. Yeah. Not a fan. All right, we'll talk to you soon.